Our next speaker is about to tell us how to do something that I always have a bad trouble with, and he just sets up the joke. Totally sets up the joke. What's your name again? Yes. Ha ha ha. I'm funny. Give it up for Michael Richardson.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a developer at Kroger in Cincinnati, and I help to organize the Momentum Developer Conference and the Cincinnati Software Craftsmanship Meetup. So I want to talk to you about names and why you should stop saying, I'm bad at names. As someone who has, at times, been quite bad at names, I get it. Names are hard to remember. There are a lot of people, and consequently, a lot of names. Events like CodeMash are particularly challenging because you encounter people that you may only see once or twice a year. But names are also important, and we can do better. So, the first question that we should answer is, why should we care? And there are two primary reasons, and they are connected. So the first is respect. Respect for the people that we meet. I strongly believe that making an effort to remember names is important because it's the right thing to do. The second reason is it has real rewards. Remembering someone's name is a vital step to building a connection with them. We all know how valuable connections can be, especially when you're trying to do big things. So, before we can begin to improve at remembering names, we have to believe that remembering names is important. That is the most critical step. Based on that decision, we can make efforts to improve. Now, I would like to offer some practical advice on how to do that. This advice is a few things that have worked for me in my life. They're not terribly tricky to implement, but they do take some practice to get good at. Now, to understand how to improve, we have to think about the human brain. At the risk of restating the obvious, our brains are not computers. If you tell Alexa your name, she'll never forget. Your coworker, however, is another story entirely. Human brains are less concrete and more flexible. We have to learn. Making the neural connections requires effort, and brains are constantly disposing of stuff that we don't use. So to remember a person's name, we have to strengthen the mental pathways that connect a specific name to a specific person. Repetition helps us to do just that. So, the first time meeting someone is critical to remembering their name. You want to always repeat their name back to them after you hear it, like, nice to meet you, Kim. And then you want to use their name throughout the initial interaction whenever it makes sense, as often as possible. You want to introduce them to your friends by name. And then you can connect with them on social media, and that will help you to establish not only an audible connection with the name, but also a visual connection with the name. Next, you have to reinforce that mental connection to make it a part of your long-term memory. You want to never miss an opportunity to strengthen that connection by bringing it to the top of your mind. The more often you engage in recall, matching a person's face to their name, the easier that recall becomes. Now, these are some opportunities where you can do that just as you pass by someone in the office, when you're sending them an email, even when and especially when you talk to them, addressing them specifically by name. Now, next is the dreaded question: what to do when you forget? I say when because we all know that it will happen. First of all, I encourage you to cheat by any means possible. You can check their name badge. You can ask a friend. You can introduce them to someone. You can look them up in your social media or company directory. I use LinkedIn for this all the time. Sometimes, though, you just have to own it. But don't say, I'm bad at names. It's defeatist, and it deflects responsibility. You goofed, but that's okay. It happens to all of us. That's the way our brains work. Instead, we can use an alternative. You can apologize and ask them to remind you instead. Finally, make sure that you extend grace to people when they forget your name. Be kind. Help each other out. Don't make people feel bad for forgetting. Now, having given this talk, I realize I'm now at risk of embarrassing myself. Inevitably, I will meet someone tonight and fail to remember their name tomorrow. I will always have room for improvement, but I'm committed to the pursuit. I would appreciate if you would extend some grace to me as well. So, with a little effort, we can all live in a friendlier, better connected world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Didn't Michael give a great talk? Give it up for Michael.